Assalamu alaikum, welcome to episode 13 of 10-minute Taraweeh. We are still in Surah Yusuf, but before that, our Fatiha fact. Ihdina as-sirat al-mustaqim, guide us on the straight path, as-sirat. What are the qualities and features of this sirat? First of all, that which is mentioned is that it is straight. That means it's direct, it means it reaches its destination, there is no crookedness in this path. Also, it is described in the singular, as-sirat al-mustaqim. And that's contrasted elsewhere in the Quran by as-subul, the other pathways, which are multiple, while the true path is one. But importantly, there's one more feature which should be remembered alongside this, and that is that the sirat al-mustaqim is in fact broad enough, wide enough, vast enough to encompass all seekers. It is not a narrow path such that it's only my way or the highway, that it is only one interpretation that can be correct, but rather there are many people who are striving on this path, and they may be more to the left or the right, but our attempt is always to be in the middle way, in the middle of this path. In juz number 13, we are going to be touching on three different surahs. Here we are already in Surah Yusuf. Yusuf alayhi salam is the exemplar and model of chastity, of standing in the face of temptation, first of all from the wife of the Aziz, and then from the other women in his community who attempted to seduce him from his moral stance. He was given the ability to interpret dreams, and we find in verse 36 one of those dreams which was of those who were put in prison alongside him after he refused the advances of those women. وَدَخَلَ مَعَهُ السِّجْنَ فَتَيَانِ قال أحدهما إني أراني أعصر خمرا وقال الآخر إني أراني أحمل فوق رأسي خبزا تأكل الطير منه. So this was the dream of those prisoners. Then we have the dream of the king, which is expressed in verse 43. وقال الملك إني أرى سبع بقرات سمان يأكلهن سبع عجاف وسبع سنبلات خضر وأخر يابسات. So in these verses we see those perplexing images which were interpreted correctly by this prophet of God. After the story has reached one part of its conclusion, which is that he is brought out of the prison, then he is given the ability to be established in the land, to have authority in the land. And he says, قَالَ جَعَلْنِي عَلَى خَزَائِنِ الْأَرْضِ إِنِّي حَفِيظٌ عَلِيمٌ. This is verse 55. He is stepping up to the plate. He is fulfilling a duty that only he can fulfill in proper way, and that is to look after the storehouses of the land, to deal with the treasury, or to be the chancellor of that society, even though it was an unbelieving system at that time. Then he sets about his plan to win back his family after he had been estranged from them. And we have an expression of hope from his father, who had been willing and waiting to be reunited with Yusuf alayhi salam, when he says to his children, يا بني يذهبوا فتحسسوا من يوسف وأخيه ولا تيأسوا من روح الله إنه لا ييأس من روح الله إلا القوم الكافرون. The end of this verse says that do not despair of the relief and the mercy which comes from Allah. Indeed, there is none who despairs of the relief from God except for an unbelieving people, because it is not a quality of a believer to disbelieve in the goodness that comes from God. Part of faith in God is to believe that good things are always coming. And the redemption that comes at the end of the story is when his brothers realize and recognize that they are standing in front of Yusuf alayhi salam, and they ask him, قالوا أئنك لأنت يوسف قال أنا يوسف وهذا أخي قد من الله علينا إنه من يتق ويصبر فإن الله لا يضيع أجر المحسنين. And then in the comments, as it were, which come at the end of the surah, the conclusion as part of that is a call to invite to the path of God. and this is the way of the messengers, the way of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, who is told, قُلْ هَذِهِ سَبِيلِي أَدْعُو إِلَى اللَّهِ عَلَى بَصِيرَةٍ أَنَا وَمَنِ اتَّبَعَنِي وَسُبْحَانَ اللَّهِ وَمَا أَنَا مِنَ الْمُشْرِكِينَ. This is verse 108. Say, this is my way. I call to Allah, I invite to God on clear evidence. I and whoever follows me, and glory be to God, and I am not among those who associate partners with Him. Then we come to Surah Ar-Ra'd, Surah number 13 of the Quran. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alif Lam Ra. Tilka ayatul kitab. والذي أنزل إليك من ربك الحق ولكن أكثر الناس لا يؤمنون. And this surah is named after the thunder, Ar-Ra'd. And this reminds us that natural phenomena, while being natural, they are part of God's creation. They're also from the divine. And so they have their own way of worshipping the Lord, which is beyond our perception and immediate understanding, as expressed in verse 13 of this surah. وَيُسَبِّحُ الرَّعْدُ بِحَمْدِهِ. That the thunder celebrates the praises of the Lord. وَيُسَبِّحُ الرَّعْدُ بِحَمْدِهِ وَالْمَلَائِكَةُ مِنْ خِيفَتِهِ وَيُرْسِلُ الصَّوَاعِقَ فَيُصِيبُ بِهَا مَنْ يَشَاءُ وَهُمْ يُجَادِلُونَ فِي اللَّهِ وَهُوَ شَدِيدُ الْمِحَالِ. So then, in this surah we have an expression of the importance of contentment. And that contentment in our hearts, in the face of tribulations, in the face of difficulties, comes about through the remembrance of God. This is in verse 28. الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَتَطْمَئِنُّ قُلُوبُهُم بِذِكْرِ اللَّهِ أَلَا بِذِكْرِ اللَّهِ تَطْمَئِنُّ الْقُلُوبُ. The next surah is Surah Ibrahim, chapter 14 of the Quran. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alif Lam Ra. كتاب أنزلناه إليك لتخرج الناس من الظلمات إلى النور بإذن ربهم إلى صراط العزيز الحميد. So here again the expression of bringing people from darkness or darknesses into the light. And one of the important principles involved in explaining Islam to people and inviting them to it is to use the language of the people, as in verse 4. وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَا مِن رَّسُولٍ إِلَّا بِلِسَانِ قَوْمِهِ لِيُبَيِّنَ لَهُمْ. We did not send any messenger except with the tongue of his people in order to make clear to them. And that means not only using the language that people understand, as in Arabic and English and French and so on, but also using those ways of expression that people can relate to and would appreciate. This surah has a beautiful parable of the goodly word. Here in verse 24. أَلَمْ تَرَ كَيْفَ ضَرَبَ اللَّهُ مَثَلًا كَلِمَةً طَيِّبَةً كَشَجَرَةٍ طَيِّبَةٍ أَصْلُهَا ثَابِتٌ وَفَرْعُهَا فِي السَّمَاءِ. That the goodly word is like a goodly tree. It has firm roots and foundations, and its branches extend into the sky. And this goodly word is what will bring goodness in this life and the hereafter. Whereas the evil word is one which does not have any foundation, does not have any strength. And evil plots will never be allowed to stand. And this is found in verse 46 near the end of the surah. وَقَدْ مَكَرُوا مَكْرَهُمْ وَعِنْدَ اللَّهِ مَكْرُهُمْ وَإِنْ كَانَ مَكْرُهُمْ لِتَزُولَ مِنْهُ الْجِبَالِ. So even those who are plotting against humanity, those who are striving to do evil, everything is in the sight of God and in His plan. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين.